As technology and innovation expands globally, the world gets smaller. People, cultures, and ideas from all over the earth have meshed together to be shared by all, and it has created a global community. You can see it in our faces, the history we share, the things we do. Everything we love and enjoy comes from somewhere. For this channel, our mission is to not only tell you about the country we focus on, but to also let you know how people and ideas from each culture has left an impact on the bigger world. In this episode, we learn about Finland, the land of 1,000 lakes. I'll dive deep to answer the following questions and so much more. Why isn't Finland a part of Scandinavia? What world-famous holiday icon calls Finland home? What globally recognized products and ideas were invented in Finland? What type of musical band does Finland have the most of per capita in the world? And what are some of the Finnish traditions or celebrations that everyone in the world should try? I'm going to be honest, the Finnish language uses sounds not often heard of in English, so bear with me as I try to say them correctly. What did you find interesting about Finland and what did I miss? Please share with us in the comments below.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and...
From reading the comments in my Denmark and Sweden videos, I've learned that Finland is most definitely not a part of Scandinavia. There are a few reasons for the exclusion. The first is that most of Finland is not on the Scandinavian peninsula. Another is historical designation, but the biggest reasons are the cultural differences between Finland and the Scandinavian countries. One example is language. Finland's language is in the Uralistic family and is more similar to other languages such as Hungarian, whereas Scandinavian countries have Indo-European languages. Finland is also largely Lutheran in faith, while the Scandinavian countries have their own national churches. Finland is a part of the Nordic countries, which includes the Scandinavian countries and Iceland. The 5 countries share many similarities in their way of life, and all follow some version of the Nordic model. They are also near the top in many metrics of national performance, including education, economic competitiveness, civil liberties, quality of life, and human development, making it one happy region. In the Finnish language, the Finns call their country Suomi, and while the reason behind their name isn't completely certain, a popular theory is that Suomi comes from the word Suoma, meaning swampland in Finnish. Being a land much flatter than its neighbors and with thousands of lakes, it would make sense. Because of its many lakes and coastline, Finland is home to almost 180,000 islands, third most in the world behind its Scandinavian neighbors Norway and Sweden. Take that, Scandinavia. But one thing Scandinavia does not have is the home of every child's favorite gift giver, Santa Claus. Far to the north, right on the Arctic Circle, lives Santa Claus, who is said to officially live in the aptly named Santa Claus Village near the city of Rovaniemi, capital of Finnish Lapland. Open every day of the year, at Santa Claus Village you can meet Santa and his reindeer, visit the Elf's farmyard, go on snowmobiling and Siberian husky excursions, cross the Arctic Circle, look for the northern lights, and so much more. You can even tour Santa's village and mail a Christmas card from Santa Claus's main post office. So Santa lives in Finland. I guess that answers the question of how he can visit every house in the world overnight. He's Finnish before he even starts. Staying north of the Arctic Circle, Lapland in the far reaches of Finland is also known as the land of the midnight sun. From mid-May till sometime in August, the sun rises and never really sets, due to being so close to the North Pole and the axis tilt of the Earth. Of course, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows in Lapland. Because of their location, they also experience polar night in the wintertime. On a positive note, polar night doesn't generally last as long as midnight sun due to refraction. Finland is home to 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The most well-known likely being the Fortress of Suomenlinna, a sea fortress built on 8 islands about 4 kilometers southeast of the city center of Helsinki. It was built by the Swedes in 1748 as a protection against Russian expansion. Today, it is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Helsinki. So what comes from Finland? I'm glad you asked.
I wanna tell you something new.
For a country with only 5 million people, Finland has contributed a massive amount to the global community. Enjoyed by Finns since 2000 BC, saunas are small rooms or buildings designed for people to experience dry heat sessions, causing them to relax and perspire. The oldest known saunas in Finland were made from pits dug in a slope in the ground and were used as homes in winter. A means to surviving in their harsh weather, the Finnish still take their saunas very seriously. How seriously, you might ask? In a country of 5 million people, Finland has 3 million of them, more saunas than there are cars in the country. If you ever get to go to a sauna in Finland, bathing suits are not optional, meaning you should experience the sauna naked. unless it's a public mixed-gender sauna, like they say when in Rome, or in this case, Finland. Nokia, a multinational telecommunications and electronic corporation based in Finland, has adapted in its history to become one of the 500 largest companies in the world. Probably best known for making cell phones, Nokia actually began as a pulp mill in 1865. Masters at pivoting, at different times, Nokia expanded into energy generation, the rubber business, making respirators, cables, and military equipment before entering the networking and radio industries in the 1970s. It eventually grew to become the largest mobile phone brand and is one of the world's most trusted brands to this day. The addictive video game Angry Birds was created by Finnish company Rovio Entertainment. In case you've never played the game or watched the Angry Bird movies, the premise of it is for colorful birds to protect their eggs from a horde of green pigs. If someone tried to steal my eggs, I'd be angry too. In the Lord of the Rings book series, renowned author J.R.R. Tolkien based Kenya, the High Elvish language, on the Finnish language. The Finnish innovators are also credited with inventing the heart rate monitor, the operating system Linux, Fisker's scissors, safety reflectors, and even ice skates. Being the inventors of ice skates, it should come as no surprise that Finland has one of the best ice hockey teams in the world. While Finns tend to be happy and reserved people, nothing gets them more fired up than their ice hockey rivalry with fellow Big Six member and neighbor, Sweden. Let us know in the comments who is better. And finally, global sportswear giants Adidas bought their signature 3 stripes branding from Finnish company Karhu in 1952 for 2 bottles of whiskey and about 1,600 euros. I bet it would cost at least 3 bottles of whiskey if you tried to buy it now. Saunas have been a part of Finnish history for thousands of years. What else has happened there during that time? During much of the Middle Ages, Finland and its Baltic neighbors were mostly made up of small towns with a common language instead of being a unified country, which made them easy targets for the Viking raids, and their relationship with their neighbors did not end there. While we aren't sure when and exactly how Finland became a part of Sweden, it's believed to have happened in the 12th century during the Northern Crusades. The records of actual dates and people are questionable at best. However it happened, Finland would remain a part of the Swedish Empire for around 700 years. In that time, some of the historical highlights were the 1323 Treaty of Nottebory, in which Sweden and the Novgorod Republic split up present-day Finland. Membership of the Kalmar Union from 1397 until 1523 with their Scandinavian neighbors Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and their overseas territories. The Finnish War was fought between the Kingdom of Sweden and the Russian Empire from 1808 to 1809. As a result of the war, present-day Finland left the loving arms of Sweden and was established as the autonomous Grand Duchy of Finland within the Russian Empire. Pass the duchy upon the left-hand side. As Russia began fighting itself during the February Revolution and Tsar Nicholas II abdicated the throne in 1917, the feeling in Helsinki was that there was no legal reason to be a part of Russia anymore, causing the Finnish Declaration of Independence to be written and adopted by the Parliament of Finland on December 6, 1917. At the same time, they declared themselves to be a republic. Fortunately for Finland, the Bolsheviks led by Vladimir Lenin recognized Finnish independence a few weeks later. But if you think independence would be smooth sailing for the Finns, you'd be wrong, at least early on. Although separation from Russia happened peacefully, there were political arguments within Finland which soon led to civil war. The Finland Civil War was fought between the Reds, led by a section of the Social Democratic Party, and the Whites, who were anti-socialist and a part of the conservative-based Senate, and aided by the Germans. The Reds, made up of industrial and agrarian workers, controlled the cities and industrial centers of southern Finland. The Whites, led by landowners and those in the middle and upper classes, controlled central and northern Finland. The bloody 3-month war ended with the Whites and their German friends getting control of the country. 39,000 people died in the conflict, and Finland for a short time switched over to German influence. Of course, this was the 20th century and things didn't stay status quo for long. During World War II, Finland fought 2 wars against the Soviet Union and a 3rd against Germany. The first, called the Winter War, started because Finland refused to let the Soviets build military bases on their land. The invasion led the Soviets to be kicked out of the League of Nations, and their reputation as a fighting force was damaged due to the ferocity in which the Finnish army defended their land. Russia's struggles against the Finns helped convince Adolf Hitler that an attack on Russia would be successful, changing the entire direction of World War II. Simo Häyhä, touted as the deadliest sniper in world history, fought for Finland in the Winter War against the Soviets, killing 500. You'll see more of him when we get to the people section. I bet the Russians wish they got a heads up like that. The second war with the USSR was the Continuation War, in which Finland and Nazi Germany fought the Soviets from 1941 until 1944. and was quickly followed by the Lapland War of 1944 and 1945, when Finland turned around and fought the Germans to force them to withdraw from northern Finland back into Norway. So the Finnish fought the USSR and Nazi Germany in World War II. That could not have been easy, right, Poland?
Forever young, or am I faking on
The World Happiness Report has declared Finland the happiest country in the world every year since 2018, taking the title from their almost as happy neighbors Norway and Denmark. Should I say it again? Oh yeah. Take that, Scandinavia! All of the Nordic countries rate high in happiness, and it would make sense to learn from their successes. Some of their similarities include the Nordic model, in which they combine capitalism and all the economic growth it provides with social benefits such as state pensions and income distribution. Another reason is likely their outlook on life. With social philosophies like the law of Inventions, the Finns generally live a more relaxed life and focus on cooperation instead of competition, which goes to show teamwork really does make the dream work. A low crime rate, world-class education in Finland, and a high standard of living also help the Finns be happy. A personality trait that kept coming up when I was researching the Finnish people is that they mean what they say what they mean, and not much else. Finns generally aren't big on small talk and don't find long pauses in conversation awkward, which is different than much of the rest of the world. But when they do speak, it's genuine. If they're asking how you're doing, it isn't just a greeting, they mean it. So what do these quiet, reserved Finns enjoy doing when they aren't enjoying a sauna or nature? Evidently, they love listening or playing heavy metal music. Finland has the highest concentration of heavy metal bands in the world. Finland leads the world by far with 53.2 heavy metal bands per 100,000 residents. Finland is renowned for its heavy metal bands such as Lordi Nightwish, Him, Insomnium, Children of Bodom, Amorphous, and many others known throughout the world. So while your vision of Finland might be this, in reality, it's probably more like this. At the age of 18, all Finnish men are required to serve at least 165 to 347 days in the military or serve in the civilian service. After their military service, the former conscripts are placed in reserve until the ages of 50 or 60, depending on their military rank. Women can choose to volunteer, and some do. Conscription is a requirement written into their constitution. I wonder why. Famous Finns include Elias Lönnrot, author of Kalevala, the national epic. The Kalevala was instrumental in the development of Finnish national identity, and in many ways helped lead to Finland's independence from Russia in 1917. Finnish-born Eero Saarinen immigrated to the United States at 13 and designed some of America's most iconic structures, most notably the St. Louis Gateway Arch. A nation in love with ice hockey, the greatest Finnish hockey star is Timo Solanne. The Finnish Flash was one of the highest scores in NHL history and was selected into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2017. Some of the world's greatest race car drivers are also from Finland. Notable Formula One drivers include Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen. Räikkönen won the 2007 Formula One World Championship and has placed in the top 3 a number of other times. Beauty queen Armi Helena Kusala became the first ever Miss Universe, winning the title in 1952. As I forewarned, Simo Häyhä, with over 500 confirmed kills, was the greatest sniper in the history of recorded warfare. Nicknamed the White Death, he once killed 25 soldiers in a day and was so successful in part because he developed clever techniques to remain hidden, such as pouring water into snow in front of him so that the muzzle blast will not expose his location by disturbing the light snow. He also became a master of using sound, smoke, and artillery fire to cover his movements when changing positions. With that said, we are changing positions and going into Finnish cuisine. A unique and interesting part of Finnish culture is the everyman's rights. According to visitfinland.com, these rights give those in Finland the freedom to roam the countryside. You are free to forage for spices or berries, fish in one of the many thousands of lakes, or simply explore. Many Finnish traditional dishes are prepared by stewing them for a long time in an oven, which produces hearty but bland food, causing Finnish cuisine to be criticized over the years by other national leaders such as Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi and former French President Jacques Chirac. In response to Berlusconi's critique, Finnish pizza chain Koti Pizza won the 2008 America's Plate International Pizza Contest in New York. The name of their award-winning smoked reindeer pizza? Berlusconi, a symbolic payback for his criticism. Take that, Berlusconi. A major staple in Finnish cuisine is rye bread, a dark sour bread produced in quantity in Finland. Compared with the more internationally popular German style, Finnish rye breads tend to be less oily or moist in texture. Karelian pasties are traditional pasties. The most common version has a thin rye crust with filling of rice, mashed potato, and rice and carrot fillings are also commonly available. Leipäjuusto, or Finnish squeaky cheese, is a Finnish fresh cheese traditionally made from rich milk from a cow that has recently calved. Salmiakki is a salty black licorice that many in Finland absolutely love. There are many YouTube videos of foreigners trying salmiakki to different effects. If you've had it, let us know what you think of it. Finally, in what seems to be a northern tradition, the people of Finland love their coffee, drinking on average 26 pounds of coffee each year, the most of any country on the planet. Finland is also first on the planet in milk consumption. Do Finns like milk in their coffee? Let me know in the comments. The government of Finland is a parliamentary republic. The capital and largest city is Helsinki, the second northernmost capital in the world. The President of Finland acts as head of state and shares executive authority with the Prime Minister. The President has 3 official residences, the main one being in the Presidential Palace in Helsinki. As of the making of this video, the President of Finland is Sauli Niinistö. The Prime Minister of Finland is the leader and official head of the Finnish government. The current Prime Minister is Sanna Marin, who made global headlines in 2019 for becoming the youngest serving state leader in the world at the age of 34. For the economy, Finland is a highly industrialized mixed economy that excels in electronics and forestry. Finnish-based industries are also focusing on research and development in high-tech electronics. Forest products, in other words lumber, has traditionally been the major export industry for Finland in the past, and several large international corporations in this business are based in Finland. Other Finnish economics highlights include being the world's 5th largest producer of chromium. On the sea, the biggest cruise ships in the world are built in Aker Finnyards. A part of the 19-country Eurozone, Finland is the only Nordic country to use the euro. There are about 426,000 people in Sweden who were either born in Finland or had at least one parent who was born in Finland. Helped by the Nordic Passport Union, Finnish immigration to Sweden was considerable during the 1950s and 60s. One sizable group of ethnic Finns in Sweden are the Tornedalians, who at some point settled in the areas of today's northern Sweden near the Torn Valley district. Another group in Sweden are the Forest Finns, Finnish migrants from Savonia and northern Tavastia in Finland who settled in forest areas of Sweden and Norway during the late 16th and early to mid 17th centuries. There are about 650,000 people in the United States who are at least partial Finnish descent. The first Finns to reach North America arrived in the New Sweden colony by the lower Delaware River in 1640. A descendant of those early Finnish Americans was John Morton, a signer of the American Declaration of Independence. A group that came for religious reasons were the Laestadian Finns, who longed for a rural way of life and religious toleration. They immigrated to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, today the highest concentration of Finnish Americans living in the United States. The years between 1870 and 1930 are known as the Great Migration of Finns into North America. The movement was strengthened even further in 1899, as the Russian government started an aggressive campaign for the Russification of Finland. Many Finns chose to escape repression by migrating to the New World. Notable North Americans who are at least partly Finnish include Christine Lahti, Matt Damon, Pamela Anderson, Jessica Lange, and Vanessa Williams, who is 12% Finnish. FinFest USA is an annual festival held to celebrate Finnish heritage and culture in the United States.
I wanna tell you something new.
In a world filled with nations searching for the best way to teach our children, Finland has been one of the best at it for years. What are they doing to be so successful, you might ask? Here are some reasons often cited to explain their success in the classroom. In a world where standardized tests from government agencies are the norm, Finland doesn't have any, except a voluntary one at the end of a student's career. This allows Finnish educators to focus on the individual needs of a child and not simply trying to have them pass the test. Whereas many schools and countries around the world try to compete with each other, the Finns focus on a popular Nordic concept of cooperation. There are no best schools lists in Finland, rather a network for teachers to help each other out. Playing for children is valued as a great way to learn, and kids don't start school until the age of 7. When they do go to school, classes generally start no earlier than 9 o'clock in the morning and end by 2:45, which proves that sometimes less can be more. To better understand their students, teachers often follow students on their educational journey for up to 6 years. The Finns create a more relaxed atmosphere at school, often taking 15 to 20-minute breaks between classes. Since the 1980s, Finnish educators have focused on making these basics a priority, using education as an instrument to balance out social inequality. All students receive free school meals, ease of access to healthcare, psychological counseling, and individualized guidance. It seems that Finland has mastered working smarter and not harder in education. Food for thought.
You seem to know something I don't. What's going on? Can you tell me what it is, please?
And finally, Finland is home to some of the world's most interesting competitions and traditions. Wife carrying is a contest in which male competitors race while carrying a female teammate. The objective is for the male to carry the female through a special obstacle track in the fastest time. The first modern-day wife carrying event was held in Finland in 1992, with foreign contestants entering in 1995. The wife carrying world championships are held annually in Santa Finland. You might ask yourself, what do you get for being the fastest at carrying your wife through an obstacle course? Her weight in beer. This leads to an honest question. Do you ask her to gain weight to get more beer, or would you prefer she was lighter to increase your chances of winning? Finland also practices National Sleepyhead Day, which is observed on July 27th of each year. The tradition of the Sleepyhead Day traces back to the Middle Ages, when the belief was that the person in the household who slept late on this day would be lazy and non-productive for the rest of the year. If you're caught being the last person to sleep in a house on that day, you risk being thrown into a lake or a sea. All countries and cultures have contributed to the bigger world. Finland, with its many gifts, are a giant on the world landscape because of all of the things we have gotten from them. I hope you consider taking a look at some of my videos from Finland's neighbors, such as Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Thanks for watching. Until next time, thank you for being a part of our global community.
Get out of bed and I stretch. Bet my hair is a mess.